Whew. At long last, the UFL is finally coming back after all this time. The Rock will be at the opening game tomorrow night. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. If it happens tomorrow night. As we all know, the St. Louis-Houston game will be tomorrow night. The Rock will be there. Everything's going to be nice, dandy, ESPN, now with, MLB, kind of, just being kicked to the curb. That could set up some things for ESPN in the future with, a Sunday night UFL type thing. Maybe. We'll see. But again, the league has a little bit of a problem right now. There's a big old dispute going on. The Players Association and the UFL owners kind of at a little bit of a crosshairs. Apparently $55,000 over 10 weeks isn't enough for some of these guys. All of the 24 quarterbacks walked out, were able to come to training camp, but they are kind of the main sources of this dispute when you have guys like Quentin Normandy, of all guys, complaining, and whining of this nature. There are some people that, really, really want the UFL to be better with this, as if, healthcare should probably be guaranteed, But again, there are some drawbacks to this, and this is one of those cases where it's like I'm kind of on the fence with this, to be quite honest. Same thing with something like the IFL Network. Kind of on the fence with this. For one, I do want the players to have, a little bit more incentive. Healthcare should obviously be there. There should be, maybe a couple benefits here or there. But at the same time, this is the UFL. The UFL has only been around for a year, as its own entity. These splits of the USFL and the XFL coming together to form this league, and this league has not had the greatest presence. Broadcast has been fine. 880,000 viewers per game last year. That's fine and everything like that. That's cool. Attendance, it's not a bad, but I will be going to the Arlington Renegades game on April the 27th. Now, that's going to be a hard get there because it's a Sunday. The TRE is not running, so it's going to be a weird situation. Now I'm going to find a way to get over to Choctaw Stadium. So what if, the labor disputes kind of mess things up before in 24 hours? Well, Fox and ESPN are just going to air like counter programming. They're just going to air like The Masked Singer. Fox is going to air something like The Masked Singer, some Gordon Ramsay. ESPN probably going to lean on their 30 for 30s. Not use their channel for live sports. Cough. They've been talking about Stephen A. and LeBron too much lately. It's a weird one, I don't know. I think the league will kick off on time, I hope. But I could be wrong. In 24 hours, I could be completely wrong, and I'll be sitting here watching something else on Friday night. Multiple coaches, such as Reggie Barlow, he went to Tennessee State. Some others have left too. They've been replaced, And the biggest question is, will the Birmingham Stallions be dethroned this year? They won 2 straight, They won 2 straight USFL championships, won a UFL championship, So it's kind of weird. As far as the rosters go, I don't really have too many strong opinions on most of these rosters. Let me tell you, the Spring King, Luis Perez, is indeed back for the Arlington Renegades. So that's good. There are some guys on some of these rosters I do want to, Marquette King is still here for Sal Canella's still here. So Arlington has a pretty decent roster, I think. Not the greatest in the world. Birmingham, of course, a lot of the guys, Case Cookus, Matt Corral, Stephen Gilmore from Marshall. I mean, just CJ Marable, Alex McGoo, a triple threat of QBs in the QB room. A lot of guys from last year. Larry Roundtree the third. I mean, there's just so much. Jay Sternberger from Texas A&M. Just a Birmingham just looks like the team that's going to, just win it all again. Um, there's also DC, but DC's is kind of. I'm literally, looking at the final 50-man rosters, at this moment, not too much for me. Jordan Tahamu, he's still here. And I mean the offense. Some of these guys, again, I probably heard some of these guys, but I just don't remember. I don't remember, guys. Look, I don't remember nothing. So my memory is pretty bad. So Houston, the Roughnecks, I mean, they got Chris Blewett. If that's anything, Chris Blewett's cool, you know. Who else? Who else we got on this roster for Houston that I can, kind of. TJ Basher's pretty cool. Yeah, TJ Basher. Yeah, I remember that guy. He did some damage. Who else? Who else is on this roster that I can really kind of shout out? Honestly, not too much. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not making too many UFL videos this year because Memphis has guys like EJ Perry, Boogie Roberts, from. I was already on the fence, about making a UFL video every week, and the ongoing labor disputes are just kind of like, yeah, these are things that are happening. Eli Stove is still on Memphis, so that's interesting. Michigan, let's see, Michigan's roster real quick. I'm not gonna put it on the Kai Nakua, one of the spokespersons for the Players Association, been talking some stuff. He's been talking some stuff. And again, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know how this is all going to play out in 24 hours. I hope everybody is able to play. We get a season that goes along pretty smoothly. But again, the UFL has trouble with some things, and it's been very notable again. Ratings are okay for a spring league. Ratings are okay for the way things have been going. Streaming has been, going up, and people going on cable has been going down. Let's see who else. Michigan's rosters. Honestly, I just don't know at this point. Jalen Weidermeyer is here, on this roster. Breland Speaks is on this roster. Should be a pretty interesting roster. The Brahmas signed Kellen Mond, which is pretty funny. Brad Wing is here on the Brahmas roster, which is crazy. Brad Wing of all guys. I mean, it'd be cool, some guys, kind of, like were older, got to work like kind of like big three. At the same time, that's what I'm also thinking, like Greg Ward is still a wide receiver, Let's see. San Antonio's roster does not inspire me at all. It just does not. I want it to, but it just does not. There may be some guys that can go up to the next level this year, but again, there's been some guys, like Skip Holtz's Birmingham guys have been pretty much staying. And then let's see. Who else? So looking at St. Louis's roster, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's going to be some interesting, things. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know. But I think I'm going to. I don't have a UFL MVP prediction or anything like that. I do have a champion prediction, and until further notice, I think we all know what I'm going here with. I think we're all, kind of set. The way I was already glazing. I was already glazing Birmingham, but I think this is how it's going to shake out. With everything. So my prediction, of course, is going to be those Birmingham Stallions. I think they are going to win the UFL championship yet again. Until further notice, guys, somebody's going to have to show me. Somebody's going to have to show me from the UFL this year. Will the Spring King, Luis Perez, do it? I don't know. Will, guys like Kellen Mond, who's been named the starter for San Antonio, do it? Will DC, without Reggie Barlow, will they continue to do something? Because again, this year it's going to be weird. Some of the rules have been changed around a little bit. Like some of the rules have been changed around. It's basically we're going to go with the XFL style kickoffs, and they'll also get a second challenge if the first is successful. So a team originally was only supposed to have one, but they can get a second one if the first one goes well. And again, San Antonio also only has 4 home games. Just remember that. That's one big thing from last year that's changed because of the Final Four and because of scheduling conflicts in San Antonio. So now St. Louis gets a 6th home game, technically. Technically, it's a San Antonio home game, but it's in St. Louis, so But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts? I don't really have the greatest predictions or anything like that. I just wanted to say something. I'll come back, with the UFL around like week 5, week 6. Talk about it then, kind of gauge my thoughts then, and then, after that, and I'll even tell you how, if things go well, how the visit to Choctaw Stadium went. And then after that, just like 2 more, like one that will preview and predict the playoffs. And then the UFL Championship recap will be after that. So really only have 4 UFL videos for you. So, if you want thrilling content, about the UFL each and every week, you can go someplace else with that. I don't have the greatest amount of content because I do watch a lot of sports. Let's keep it real. And I talk about a lot of sports on this channel. Let's keep it real. What else? Oh, yeah, UFL expansion. I don't really want to. I do want to see it. I think there is potential for that, but, the timing has to be there. The timing has to be there. And if it's not there, this year, maybe next year, maybe we can see something next year. I don't know. But the crowd's got to get better. The ratings got to get better. The marketing especially has to get better. Ticket sales. I mean, my God, man. I did not get my tickets, I did not get my tickets, for this game until February 20th. Single game tickets should have been on sale way beforehand. Like in in early February, January even, stuff should have been on sale. The marketing is just not in there. Players, I mean, I get it. They're doing their best, but again, the attention just hasn't been there. The UFL kind of had a robust off season, but it's been quiet at times too. So who knows? And destroying is irrelevant. I'm just gonna keep that real with you right now. So you heard it from me first. Who will be the next UFL star to come to the NFL too? That's one thing. We've had Jake Bates, Brandon Aubrey, Devontae Turpin. Who's next? That's the other big question. Who's next? We'll see throughout the season how everything goes. Again, I'll come back, week 5, after week 5, then after, the final week of the regular season, and then UFL Championship. And again, I'll be seeing you, if you are going to Choctaw Stadium, you will be seeing me there on April the 27th at 11 a.m. when the DC Defenders take on the Arlington Renegades. I believe that's the game that's on April 27th. Yeah, I think that is. So, yeah, until then, I'm out, and I'll see you, over the next couple weeks, only on Tuesday only, with This Week in Indoor Football. That's the only time you'll see me over the next couple weeks, unless I could get something done with starting an interview that I've been trying to do for a month now. Good night, everybody.